welcome back once again to Objectively Biased with me, your host, the Objective One, Steve Faulkner. And today, we're going to discuss Josh Brown and domestic violence. Also, Ray Rice and his possible comeback. Let's get into it. Alright, so now on to the NFL and their inability to yet solve this small little thing, little bit of problem called domestic violence. Yes, once again the NFL is in hot water. By public opinion, because of their own ignorance and stupidity, their inability to be proactive and yet respond reactive to an entire situation that could have been avoided. So we have Giants kicker Josh Brown, charged with domestic violence, received a 1-game suspension for it, and now details of his transgressions have come out. This is a guy who's been, beating his wife's ass at least 20 times in reports. He's been going to counseling for it. Obviously, it's not working because he's still beating her. And the NFL only found it to suspend him for 1 game and hide behind plausible deniability. Yes, they did it again. Roger the Dodger Goodell ducked behind plausible deniability, saying that law enforcement wasn't cooperating and they couldn't get all the information. You know, the same Roger Goodell that spent millions of dollars on proving that Tom Brady deflated some balls. The same guy that says, we're going to fine you if you celebrate excessive in the end zone. Yes, that Roger Goodell. On BBC News recently, he said law enforcement makes it difficult. People don't understand on the outside looking in what we have to go through to get the information. Here's where I say, stop lying, you prick. Because there was information out there. At a recent Pro Bowl, Josh Brown came to the room of his wife and child drunk, pounding on the door. She had to call security. NFL league officials removed her from the room and placed her in an undisclosed hotel room so he couldn't find her. That's like witness protection. And when he got charged with domestic violence, you didn't think that there was some type of issue there? You guys had to hide this woman from him. But yet again, hey, law enforcement wasn't working with us. So what have we gathered from this? Besides the fact that Josh Brown's a prick? Here's what we've gathered. Touchdown celebrations in the NFL, like I said, that's a no. Don't be happy, don't celebrate. We are the NFL, the no fun league. Deflated footballs, you're compromising the integrity of the game. That's a no-no. Don't do that. But wife beaters, 2 thumbs up. That's NFL approved because for some reason they still can't figure out how to punish somebody for beating their wife. So keeping up with wife beaters, let's move on to Ray Rice. You know, the guy that threw that Tyson left hook that knocked out Janelle Rice. He's trying to make a comeback. And recent video has surfaced of him running on a treadmill up to like 22 miles an hour. Check it out. But see, that's Ray Rice on a treadmill. No equipment. Not on the field. Not battling the elements. Not trying to get away from would-be tacklers. And while I believe Ray Rice could actually play in the NFL, it would be at a limited capacity. This is not a guy who is the feature running back anymore. And because of that limited capacity, I'm not so sure if he's got the explosiveness to excel at a limited capacity. Getting maybe 13 to 15 touches in a game as opposed to the 20 to 25 touches a game he was getting between rushing and receiving. Listen, we're talking about a guy who had a 4-year stretch where he ran for over 1,100 yards, 1,300 yards in 1 year. A guy that during that 4-year stretch was averaging over 250 carries per season. He finished in the top 5 twice. 2 out of those 4 years, he was in the top 5 in rushing attempts. During that time span, you know what other running backs have been able to sustain taking that beating? Marshawn Lynch, Adrian Peterson, who wound up getting hurt, Frank Gore, Chris Johnson, and we saw how short-lived his career was. Spectacular for 2 years, and then he's a backup. So yeah, running like that is going to break your body down. And when you're 5'9", 220 pounds, yeah, it's going to do it to you a hell of a lot worse. Ray Rice's last season, he averaged 3.3 yards per carry. He was averaging almost 4.7 yards per carry the previous 4 years. He can't make the comeback and be a featured back. Now, do I believe he's blacklisted? To a certain extent, yeah. It would explain why nobody's even given him an opportunity. But make no mistake about it, that last season that he had in Baltimore was trash. And it's more likely than not that that trash season is the reason you're not seeing him get a shot in the NFL. And now on to my objective thought. And we're going to stick with the theme, domestic violence. Because it's just not a problem in sports, it's a problem in society. And what's worse is the perception of the problem. You see, in the recent events with Josh Brown, the New York Giants organization came to his defense. They turned around and they were showing their support for him. And I understand supporting somebody. But they also said they didn't want to make drastic decisions based on the limited evidence they had. To me, that kind of sounds like, well, what did she do to make him be violent with her? That's completely unacceptable. It happened in the Ray Rice situation when the first video surfaced and he was seen dragging his then fiance out of an elevator, unconscious. And people said, well, what happened in the elevator? And when they saw the second video, they were appalled. What do you mean, what happened in the elevator? She got knocked the fuck out. That's what happened. But we treat domestic violence as though I need proof. I need to see what happened to really understand what happened. There are so many women in this country alone, who are affected by domestic violence. And instead of being understanding and empathetic towards them, we villainize them. I'm not saying every woman is a saint. But when you're a man and you can physically beat a woman, you're wrong. And you should be punished for it. Because that's not what a man is supposed to do. For me, I would like to see every man that hits a woman or gets accused of domestic violence, just the average guy, I would like to see him have to get into an octagon and fight somebody like a Ronda Rousey. Let's see if that average Joe can beat her ass the way he beats his wife. For you athletes out there who have been given this green light to do whatever you want because you can play football or play baseball or basketball, you should have your ability to play those sports completely stripped away from you. Because you're not the average Joe. You're a big dude. You're a physically gifted dude. And the average woman doesn't stand a chance against you. You should be put into prison and have to deal with somebody the size of Zeus and see how you like it, getting slapped around and beat up on. Because women, unlike Josh Brown said, they're not slaves. They're your partner. They're your companion. And they should be treated as such, with the same, if not more, respect. With that being said, thank you for watching. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Stephen Fogmeg. Follow me on Instagram, S_Fogmeg, and on Twitter, @SFogmeg. And be looking for our November 5th roundtable discussion, which is going to be about sports and why our athletes are not expected to have minds of their own when it comes to social and political issues in this country. Again, thank you and enjoy.